Hey there, OCD Family Community. Boy, am I excited to be bumping into you again here at the water cooler. Water cooler chats are the place where we can gulp down a sip or two of encouragement, giving us a pep in our step while freeing up more time to get out there and live our best lives with our loved ones and chosen family. So while I'm spending summer break creating new memories with my little fam, I hope our run-ins here will be helpful and keep hope hydrated. But don't forget, fam, if you're thirsty for more, OCD Family Podcast has 2 full seasons of long-form content available wherever you enjoy your podcasts and YouTube. So check out ocdfamilypodcast.com, YouTube, or your favorite podcasting app. And speaking of YouTube, fam, back by popular demand this summer, even if mainly by my oldest child, we will have the return of our animated videos. Some traditions are just hard to let go, if you know what I mean. So while you can certainly listen here, there, or anywhere, if you like a visual, make sure you jump on over to OCD Family Podcast's YouTube channel where you can catch all the action. Okay, enough housekeeping for now. Let's get this party started. And that leads us to today's feature presentation on how to find the right OCD specialist for you or your loved one. Now, you may be like, Nicole, can't we just talk to any therapist about this? And my answer is, of course you can. You can even talk to a brick wall about it if you'd like. But not all therapists are created equal when it comes to the OCD brain. One of my guests used this analogy. A hammer is a great tool, but will it fix my leaky faucet? Well, I'm not going to shade any MacGyvers out there. I'm pretty sure that that's not the right tool for the job. So understanding a potential therapist's framework, how they function in treatment, that's important. All right, so how do we do that? Well, therapy isn't exactly a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. We're different people and we have different evidence-based treatments for understanding the reasoning around obsessional content or the behaviors that have created certain learning in the brain, sprinkled with our genetics, our unique neurochemistries, environment. I mean, what do we do with that? No sweat, fam. I've got your back, so let's review. If you're interested in targeting more of a cognitive approach where we determine where OCD hijacked life for all of this distressing mess, inference-based CBT, also known as ICBT, sounds like it could be a great fit for you. And guess what, fam? ICBT has a broad treatment community spanning the entire world. So you can jump on over to icbt.online and look at their therapist directory to see who's available where. And in this day and age of telehealth, the good news is whether your provider lives down the street or on the opposite side of your state or province, you can still access quality research-based care. Also, an honorable mention for OCD Training School's ICBT self-study course. We're talking about finding a therapist, so that's my ultimate recommendation. But if you're like, Nicole, I've come, I've tried, I went, I can't find anybody, they do have a self-study course for ICBT. So I'm going to link all of that on this episode's blog. Similarly, if you're looking for a trained ERP provider, that's exposure and response prevention, my go-to search is over at iocdf.org. IOCDF stands for the International OCD Foundation, and it has a really cool provider database there. You can filter your search in many different ways and find qualified providers in your area. Also, a shout out for NoCD, which is an internet-based treatment provider for the US and beyond. And they're continuously working on expanding their provider areas worldwide, so check them out. Even if they can't provide you with direct services, they often have helpful resources and community support available. This brings us to everyone's favorite topic, those dollar bills, y'all. How much is this going to cost? And what if my healthcare doesn't cover a certain therapist or I don't have healthcare at all? For starters, across our world, healthcare is not created equal. And I'm not even going to pretend to know about how each country handles this because I can't even keep up with all of the US's craziness on this either. But this is an important question for folks because it affects our ability to access providers, right? So let's talk money, honey. Before you commit to anything, I encourage you to do some groundwork to better understand the overall costs, whether insurance covers it, out-of-pocket costs, payment plan options, and sliding scales. I know here in the US, certain employers offer a work benefit called the Employee Assistant Program, or EAP. So whether you have it and use it for a handful of sessions covered with an EAP provider, or you lean into using those sessions to help lower the overall therapy costs, it can be a great support. But no, as with anything in life, therapy is an investment, whether we're talking about time, money, or both. And ultimately, we don't want to let cost have the last word on whether or not you can access treatment. So let's zoom out and examine, how much is OCD taking away from you or your family's quality of life? Is it worth the price of a dinner out, or even a class, or a subscription to get some relief? It is likely that you may have to invest some money into therapy, just like people can invest in hairdressers or wardrobes or finding organic and clean products. You and your family's health is worth it. So just ask yourself, is this something I'm able to invest in? Or is this something that I have to figure out if I'm willing to invest in? Lastly, I'll just mention, keep an eye out on social media or via different collegial programs that sometimes different research studies are being conducted where, in exchange for your participation, you can receive free or discounted treatment. This can be another great option if you happen to live in an area where you are eligible to participate. Okay, so all of this is helpful, and we've got all the tips and tricks to see if a therapist looks good on paper. But fam, therapy is a bit like dating. You've got to find a person that you can click with. And even if a provider looks great and they check all your boxes, if you feel dismissed or unheard, or maybe they're amazeballs but never available, is this the kind of relationship you want or need? Trust your gut. There's absolutely no shade if you don't feel a connection. A lot of practitioners will even offer consultations so that you can suss out whether or not you want a follow-up meeting. OCD is treacherous enough. We don't need to try and force a connection that isn't there. All right, fam, you're not sure what to do next? First step, let's just take a breath. What do you need in this moment? Yes, we love our warriors and we want to help, but we can only help if we're still breathing and taking care of ourselves. So do a self-care check, fam. A decision doesn't have to be made this second, or grab a drink of water. The water cooler's kind of an ideal place for that. Or maybe your loved one is boycotting treatment, but you feel desperate for hope. Whether this is you or them, know that you're not alone. But also, even if your loved one isn't ready for this next step, it doesn't mean you can't be ready. Whether that means you decide to take some small posture shifts on how you respond to your loved one's OCD, or even if you think, hey, I could benefit from my own therapy to process all this distress, the dynamics, OCD, and beyond. There's still a lot of hope. So if you jump on over on this episode's blog, I'm going to link some free support groups available to the international OCD community. One addresses the family relationships, and it's run by Chris and Liz Tronson. And another is facilitated by Dr. Josh Spittelneck and Dr. Michelle Witkins, where they address if your loved one is your romantic partner battling with OCD. Lastly, I'm going to link some therapist-moderated accounts across different social medias that can be very helpful in dispelling myths, providing guidance, and sharing resources, fam. And I will say, there are very talented peer advocates and lived experience warriors out there creating content too. And I'm super grateful for how their work addresses life in the trenches and helps to break down stigma, fam. But to keep this on topic, for this chat, I'm going to be linking trusted practitioner-led accounts, because I want to make sure that we're understanding the right tools and the right functions when it comes to therapists. But whether you're listening here, fam, or following them, remember, just because a therapist or a practitioner happens to be brainstorming with you on social media doesn't mean it's therapy. In fact, it's not therapy. So lean into those tips, but do find a therapist near you that can provide you the ultimate guidance and support. Well, it's been great being back at the water cooler with you, fam. I'll be here every Friday all summer long. So don't forget to like and subscribe so that you can stay hydrated. Because, fam, no matter what, you're not alone, and we are better together.